I have a question. Can the United States survive if Russia, Iran, and China join hands? Let's not pretend anymore this isn't just any fancy, cocked up story. It is happening. Russia, Iran, and China, three very different, powerful countries, are slowly moving towards what looks like a very coordinated partnership. And let me tell you, they are doing it with just one goal in mind. That goal is to challenge the global dominance of the United States. But the question that now looms larger over Washington is chilling. Can the US survive this emerging alliance? Now, each of these nations bring a very unique weapon on the table. Russia, still a nuclear superpower, commands vast energy reserves and military firepower. China, with the world's second largest economy, controls global supply chain. In fact, they builds aircraft carriers faster than anybody in the world and is rapidly upgrading its military. Iran, often underestimated, has geographical dominance in the Middle East and very powerful networks of militia spread from Lebanon to Yemen. But most importantly, all three have been repeatedly sanctioned, criticized, cornered by Washington. And let me tell you, with their act, they are really tired. You know what's more alarming is that these nations are no longer operating in isolation. We have seen joint naval drills by the trio in the Gulf of Oman. We have seen China buying Iranian oil. Despite the US sanctions, we have seen Russia sell advanced weapons to Tehran, and Beijing and Moscow conduct joint bomber patrol near Japan. This isn't diplomacy. This is the careful crafting of strategic bloc and anti-Western axis. Of course, the US is no pushover. America still holds the world's largest military budget, about $850 billion in 2024. It leads NATO, which includes 31 member countries, many of them among the most advanced militaries in the world. Its military presence spans over 800 bases globally. And wait, its currency? Well, the US dollar remains the backbone of global trade, used in over 90% of all international transactions. On paper, the US remains untouchable. But the new battle isn't just about missiles and aircraft carriers, right? It is about influence, it is about economies, it is about perception. China is pouring billions into Africa, Latin America, and Asia through its Belt and Road Initiative, slowly pulling countries into its economic orbit. Russia is offering cheap oil to countries who are just so tired of Western lectures. Iran is exporting ideology and weapons, stirring unrest in Israel, Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf. And perhaps most importantly, all three are investing heavily in media, digital platforms, and diplomacy to rewrite the global narrative. Of course, the US still has very strong allies: NATO in Europe, the Quads in Indo-Pacific, AUKUS with the UK and Australia, strong defense ties with Japan, South Korea, Israel. But you know what? Even among allies, trust is eroding. France and Japan are deepening trade ties with China. India continues to buy Russian oil. Saudi Arabia is warming up to BRICS and even considering trading oil in Chinese currency instead of US dollars. The American-led world order isn't collapsing, we do agree, but it's definitely wobbling. If Russia, China, and Iran moves beyond symbolic gestures and form a serious military and economic alliance, it wouldn't mean the end of the US. But let me tell you, it would mean the beginning of a new world split into rival blocs. NATO versus BRICS plus, dollar versus yuan, West versus East, just like the Cold War, but with faster missiles, sharper algorithms, and far more nuclear weapons in play. So, back to our original question. Can the United States survive this? So the answer is yes, but only if it evolves. Because the game has changed, the battlefield is now global influence, economic resistance, and diplomatic trust. And if America keeps playing by the old rules, well, this new alliance might just rewrite them completely.